Hello again, this is Erin Lundy. I am a physical therapist with Milestone Therapy Inc. And today's fun home exercise program that I've gotten a lot of requests from parents and caregivers is about rolling and teaching your child how to do this. So you're going to start seeing them go from their bellies to their backs around 4 to 5 months. And then between 5 to 7 months, you're going to start seeing them go from their backs over to their bellies. So today we're just going to go over some cool tips and tricks about how to facilitate this. So let's get this party started and rolling. So around the 4-month mark, this is when you're going to start to see kids accidentally roll. It's not really supposed to be purposeful at this point yet, because what they're going to be doing when you put them down on their belly is they're going to have their hands extended out in front, and what they're going to do is try to be pushing up through this. And now when they do this and they start weight shifting side to side, that's when you see them go, oh, and they accidentally roll over. So some different ways you can try to facilitate this, especially like as they get closer to that 5-month range. You can start to see them actually start kind of pushing up like this. And then what you can do is you can actually take one of their hips and try to facilitate it over. So principle of this is called the head-hip relationship. So anywhere that the head will go, the hips will follow, and vice versa. Anywhere the hips will go, the head will follow. So one of the things that we can do, in addition to trying to facilitate moving that hip over so the rest will follow, you can also have your child, when they're down on their belly like this, you can have some fun toy up here and you can like carry it over. And so as they're sitting here, you bring it over and they go, whoa, what's that? And then they can facilitate over into a really cool roll. Guess what? Another fun tool you can use to try to facilitate these fun rolling adventures is a wedge. So basically, I just ordered this one off Amazon. So basically what you do is you place it down here like this, and you place your child on their belly like this. So they kind of like half of their body is on the floor, half their body is on the wedge. Have them position their arms well, so it kind of already throws them into that little bit of that weight shifting that they kind of need in order to get that extra little push to go all the way over. If you do not have access to a wedge, as most people do not, you can just use a pillow. So what I do is I would, again, kind of have the same principle. Child's hanging out here. They want to try to weight shift over. You have half their body kind of along the side here, so it's kind of parallel to the actual pillow. And then it kind of allows them to try to roll themselves over. Another fun technique you can also do is you can actually even try to start facilitating them into side lying. So as they're here laying on their side, you're kind of like, well, wait a second, I'm already here. And they can try to come back that way. And again, you can try to use a toy to help facilitate that. You can use bubbles, something shiny, something musical, anything that catches their interest. That's a really cool way to go from their belly to their backs. But what about going from their backs to their bellies? And part of the reason why it takes a little bit longer to facilitate this is because they have different reflexes that haven't fully integrated yet. So, but once they get around that 4-month stage, when they're on their backs, what you're going to see them do whenever they're hanging out here on the, on the ground or in their car seat, they're going to start going, reaching up to their knees. So what they're doing is kind of learning how to flex their abs a little bit, like they're doing little mini crunches. They're like, oh, hey, what's this down here? But once they hit that 5-month mark, they're going to be really interested in these feet. And that is going to help them learn how to weight shift. So reach across here like that, and doing things like that. So one technique that I use with a lot of my parents is I'll say like, hey, like maybe like if your kid's having a tough time trying to reach their feet or they're not really like noticing them, you can attach like something shiny to it, something musical, like little bells, even like little like lights, anything like that that can kind of pique their interest and be like, hey, what's this down here? And they can reach across and try to do that. So that's one way that the child kind of learns how to weight shift side to side to help with that rolling. Another technique, like, once they've mastered being able to reach for their feet, is if again with that technique where you bring the toy across the top and they're trying to follow it with their heads, and they're, again, wherever their head goes, that's where their feet and their hips go. So that's kind of one really fun way to do it. Again, you can pull the wedge up again to work on the other side of having them lay on their back and then having to either move their head like by following your hand or something that's really interesting, or you manually can also facilitate bringing their hip over like this, kind of starting to roll this way, and then the child's going to reach over. Now, one of the tricky things is going to be getting their arms untucked. So that's one of the things that they're going to have to learn how to do. Sometimes it requires you to pull their arm out a little bit at a time. So like, let's say Raggedy Ann's rolling over and she's got this arm stuck and she's just not quite figuring it out. You can manually pull that out. So that way she's resting on it and she kind of learns how to, like, again, it requires weight shifting, which is what she's mastered through this whole rolling process. So she's kind of learned how to weight shift and maneuver her arms away from it. So that way it's nice and safe. Again, you can do the same thing with a pillow. So these are some really simple tools. That I think is just a good way to get parents involved in that whole weight shifting process, so that way they can facilitate all these milestones with all these rolling techniques. Okay, so I know today was kind of a fairly brief tutorial compared to the other ones that we've been working on. However, I hope, parents are not overwhelmed with all these different types of techniques and tools to be able to help facilitate their children with achieving their motor milestones and getting through with all the rolling. Because again, it's very foundational for all these other different types of movements and letting them explore their environments. It's a really fun milestone to watch happen. So I really hope that these tips and tricks are really helpful for you and your family. Thanks for watching.